Welcome back to Man Across New Horizons. I'm dear darling, shall we see what's going on a lovely little island of Fawnhollow today, where we can already see our, not weekly, daily visitor for today is Leif, who will be selling, I don't know, flowers, shrubs, that sort of things, collecting weeds, which is actually a funny thing. I never realised that. I know I haven't actually used the option on camera, but Leif actually has an option that he can buy weeds from you, whatever, but he just buys them for like double the price or something, which seems a bit pointless compared to the previous versions where he had a system where he could pluck all the weeds off your island for you, but oh well. Hello everyone, right now in Fawnhallow it's 4:48 PM on Wednesday, January 20th, 2021. Really isn't any news to speak of today. Oh yes, Fuchsia's already left. So today we're doing a very exciting job of island hopping. It's not really a job, I suppose, but the task, I suppose, ahead of us. I'm trying to recruit someone new to become a permanent resident of Fawnhallow. I forgot we moved our house all the way over here. This stuff isn't particularly interesting. We'll see what Amelia has to say. My goodness dear, I had the strangest dream. In it I was writing an important letter to you. Alas, when I awoke I couldn't remember what that letter was about. I guess we'll never know. Anywho, I hope this finds you well. Perplexed, Amelia. You've definitely sent us out before. Flick, of course, with a noble emperor butterfly. We'll sort all of this out later. Right now we're going to walk back in. We're going to do our usual Nook Mile tickets island hopping, which is actually great. It's actually one of my favourite things to do because it's so easy just to casually talk about things while we're doing Nook Mile island top. Nook Mile island hopping, sorry. My voice got very gravelly there. Ever have that happen to you? You're just speaking and your voice suddenly goes... I mean, you can tell that happens a lot with my voice. Like, I don't know, how would you describe the voice quality? Not voice quality, sorry. My voice quality. Like what like the defining traits about my voice? Now, I'm not like a voice expert or anything. Wow, Nook Mile tickets, there you are. So I'm not sure I can say for certain. I would certainly say I have a soft voice compared to a hard voice, you know. I think that's sort of a given. I sort of talk in this, I don't know, lullaby-esque way of speaking. Where it's a bit, it's like a combination of being sing-songy but also quite soft at the same time, you know. That's what I think. I've got like a sort of weird cadence or flow, I suppose, in some aspects to my voice. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart there where I just couldn't remember what I was talking about. Well, I'm not sure how many tickets we'll withdraw. Let's withdraw 3 more. I think 5 would be a good starting point. But yeah, like voice quality is a very interesting thing to, I suppose, research further into. I'm not sure really quite how else you'd want to put it, but because, you know, well, maybe you don't know, but the music theory goes, at least what they teach you from music theory when you're doing grades in Britain, which I guess is a very particular subset of people, is that there's 4 different voice types, sort of, asterisk next to that, 6 maybe, that take part in the choir, like the SATB, as is commonly known as soprano, alto, tenor, bass, with soprano being generally nearly always just women, and then with the highest voices, alto being like a woman with the lower voices or some very high voiced men, and tenors being generally like male voices with some women with very deep voices, which I guess I could be considered part of, and then bass, of course, all the men with very, very deep, gravelly sort of voices with those resonating low notes, sort of thing. But you know, that's kind of different to voice type in itself. That's more just like a categorical way of grouping together choir roles, I suppose, in that aspect. I can't say I know for certain. I wasn't part of choir. I only know bits and pieces about this because I learned some musical theory, and one of the things you need to learn for a theory test is about composing different, like, SATB compositions, I suppose. Different, like, choir compositions. Or was it like, maybe it was like converting it from SATB to like a piano piece or something. I can't remember, it's been so many years since I've done that. Anyway, time for takeoff. Yeah, but you can break that down even further, because that's just like a category of the range these notes will be in, but the voice type who sings that in that range or in that part of choir, not necessarily always matching up spectacularly, because if you break it down even further, I believe there's 8 general categories of voice types, or is it 6? I can't remember. Whatever I said at the beginning. And generally for female voices, you have the soprano, which is, I believe a soprano is actually the most common voice type for women. It's the highest range. Who are you? I feel like I've seen you before, but I don't recall your name. You're not one of the new ones, but I think you were New Leaf, maybe? At least I don't recognise you from previous ones. B. Whoa. Beatrice Santello from Night in the Woods. No, I'm joking. Yeah, you're soprano. But you have mezzo soprano, which I guess is Italian for medium soprano. I don't know what soprano even means in the first place, to be honest, but still. And then you have below that, you have contralto, which you notice is not the same as alto, because alto is not a voice type, it's just like a choir section. I'm not sure what the proper terminology for that sort of thing is, but there you go. Yeah, contralto, which is an incredibly rare voice type, especially for women. This is women with incredibly deep voices, like deeper than mine even, probably. I suppose. Yeah, much more masculine sound of voices. Oh, probably mine. I don't know. Am I contralto? I don't know. It's even still. It's like the whole category of voice ranges and spectrums, I believe. But this is, by the way, this is my very basic research that I've done into it. It's not really sort of a thing I put too much effort into, because it's I suppose obviously not something I studied. I sort of just read Wikipedia articles, watched some YouTube videos on that about it, and here I am pretending I'm an expert on it, which is obviously not the case. I know you like Henrietta. I don't mean to jump over here, but still, here I am, doing everything I can. Oh, you're Ava or Ava. I mean, to be fair, I talk with the bottom of my voice range a lot of the time. Like, I don't go much lower than this in my regular speaking. I can go from here, 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 and then here is just like, I'm just talking with light voice. What's it called? Vehicle fry. Why that is? I don't know. Perhaps all the testosterone that I was born with instead. Anyway, not point. This is getting weird. But yeah, vocal training, obviously something I do a lot as a trans woman, that sort of thing. Or try to do. Honestly, I'm just kind of lazy with it, and to be honest, I kind of like women with more husky, deeper voices anyway, so, you know, let's try and nail that sultry tone. But it's weird, like, how the way you sound isn't actually the way you actually sound. Wait, that made sense. The way that you hear yourself is not actually how you sound, because of something like the way the resonance of your voice in your skull, your voice sounds higher to you, or is it your voice sounds deeper to you? I think my voice sounds higher to me than I actually expect. Like, I feel like I'm talking, not like, I don't have like a high pitched voice or anything, but like a mid-ish voice, and then I'm like, I listen to myself and I'm like, I sound like I'm talking like down here or something. I'm like, what? Oh my god, it's low, but is this he's so cool, but unfortunately I already have two lovely wolves on my island, and I'm imparting a very strict two species max on my island. Oh, a certain type. Most of the time it'd be one, but you know, you'd have to make me choose between getting rid of Audie and Vivian, and that's not going to happen, is all I'm going to say. But yeah, I've seen, obviously I've seen stuff about vocal training, about like raising your voice, changing the resonance of your voice or something to make it sweeter, sound higher, more feminine, that sort of thing. I'm sort of just like, I'm just going to talk with my voice, whatever. Find my natural voice, and then at some point I'll start, you know, working on it harder, probably. It's sort of, yeah, I don't know. Your voice is like the only, I mean, my voice is like the only thing you really hear from me, I suppose. You have no idea what I look like. I suppose you could piece together things. I mean, I have like, let's see. My hair goes down to like the top of my stomach. It's like kind of black, but in the light can look a little bit light brown. I've been told by Milky that my hair sometimes looks purple in the light, which is very strange. I don't really know what to make of that. I've never dyed my hair. I'm Chinese, as you might know. So I have that sort of, I look Chinese, I guess. That's about it. I'd say I have a kind of long face. But yeah, anyway, those are the descriptors of my face, which you'll probably not see you for a long while. Oh, you are Zell? Not Zell. No, you're the other one. I know you. Lopez! Unfortunately, we have a very specific subset of villagers we're trying to look for, so, sorry about that. We're going to have to be taking our leave now. I'm ready to go home. Anyway, what was the point? What was my point? I don't know. It's interesting what sort of judgments you can make about someone from their voice. What judgments would you make about me from my voice? I don't know. I mean, judgments are judgments. I'm not going to take offence at any of them, to be honest. I sound like what I sound like. But yeah, a lot of things are about, like, there's a lot of videos I've seen about talking about, like, how to raise your voice, how to make it sound softer, more feminine, that sort of thing. I'm like, I don't know. I'm too lazy for that sort of thing. It's so much effort, I suppose. Okay, I'm not actually that lazy, but, like, for this sort of thing, I think why I land on it is, like, I don't care that much. I want to talk in a way that seems plausible, be like, oh yeah, that could be plausibly a woman speaking, I suppose, rather than a man, which, you know. Am I succeeding with that? Not really, I don't think so. But I feel like my voice sort of is soft enough as it can lead to some ambiguity. We know you're one of the New Horizon people, which we've actually met like 50 million times already. Biff, that was it. So maybe I'll work on it. No, and like how my voice sounds kind of, I don't know why I'm talking about my voice now when I was originally talking about vocal types, but still, my voice, it changes a lot, of course, depending on my mood. When I'm happy, you know, it gets even more sing-songy, I suppose. I'm not even sure my voice would be considered sing-songy. Of course, I probably have a different view on it. And of course, when I'm sad or depressed or just like tired or bored, I sound like this more often, where I got like this little guttural roll at the end of my sentences, and I drag things on. Would I say that's my voice? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's kind of my voice, but it's not like what I would use to build up a profile of my voice. I feel like my voice is more defined by, you know, softness. I tend to have a rather hushed tone, I think, of things. A very delicate way of speaking about things. Which I will say, like, one of my most common comments I read about people checking me out for the first time is, I love your voice, it's so relaxing. And I'm like, aw. It does make me feel good. I suppose it does sort of reflect on my much more casual, laid-back personality type, which is surprising, because I'm not sure if I consider myself all that laid-back, to be honest. I'm not a sort of like a go-with-the-flow person, but I am a sort of calm person, I suppose is a better way to phrase it. I don't really know. So in that case, is it sort of your voice is a reflection on your personality, or is it your voice is a projection of your personality? That's an interesting point. Because obviously in like cartoons and TV shows or whatever, when characters can be built a certain way, namely in cartoons, there's always the shy characters always have these really soft, like squeaky voices, that sort of thing, and of course the bombastic, energetic characters always got like these really loud, projecting voices, that sort of thing, which I'm not going to do right now because that's not who I am. Obviously those are characters with voices that can be crafted in a specific way because there's someone making the character, you know. They're like, oh, I want them to sound exactly like this, I want them to be like this, and I want them to look like this. Every single part of their personality is crafted about something. So it's interesting to see it reflected in real life. I suppose it's more, it's not just coincidence, is what I mean to say in the end. It's because how you present yourself, you know, is a reflection on who you are as a person. Oh, sorry. So if you're going to be a more calm, much more shy person, you're probably going to have a much more quiet, much more soft, reserved voice. And I suppose I'm just part of living proof of that, if anything. And if you're more energetic, you're going to project yourself much more loudly, that sort of thing. I'm trying to think, have I ever met someone who has like a soft voice like me, but is absolutely off the wall, like energetically crazy? That'd be a very weird juxtaposition. Or like the inverse, someone with like a really loud, booming, like sharp voice, I suppose, but a very chilled back and laid back persona. I don't know. I guess not. You know what I find is interesting is people can actually lose their voice. Not lose their voice like because they screamed or so much, but like lose their original voice. Like it's a thing which I have heard happen, not commonly, but it happens with like voice actors and voice actresses. That often sometimes because they do so many different characters and voices and they come up with a load of different characters, they can lose their original voice. They can basically forget how they usually speak. Because I can't remember, I think it was I want to say it was Tara Strong. I saw like an interview with her where she talked about it or something. Carrie, I feel like we only see the same villages over and over again. I know that's cognitive bias. That's like prime candidate evidence what cognitive bias is. You you only see the information you want seen. You only pay attention to the evidence which reflects the conclusion you've already drawn. But anyway, Tara Strong, where she like lost her voice, and I think she had to go see like a voice therapist or something for a while to like re-find her actual voice. That's like a weird thought to think about. At least when I learnt about that for the first time when I was much younger, I was like, man, that's really scary, isn't it? That's sort of like losing part of your identity, isn't it? But then, you know, your identity and how you present yourself sort of change all the time, so really, I guess it's kind of not that big of a deal. In my thing, if your voice changes, it just shows like a reflection, like a change of who you are, right? It's sort of just like you change your style, or like clothes you wear, you know? Maybe you have like you used to have much more gothic, much more edgy clothing, and then you bring it back, you turn it down a bit, and you have like comfy clothing. Nowadays, it just shows a difference in your reflection. Reflection is not what I wanted. A difference in who you are and what you identify with, and it reflects on how you present yourself, I suppose, is how I was meant to say. So, you know, losing your voice, it's just, you know, part of it. It's just evolving as a person. So you might ask, have I ever lost my voice? Not really, I don't think so. My voice, Mitzi, Mitzi is so cute. My voice has changed over the years, obviously. Especially when I was much younger and much more, I suppose, moody, I suppose one way to put it. Mitzi is adorable, but unfortunately, Mitzi, we're going to have to pass on you. Yeah, because, of course, when I was, not to go into it, I was kind of had some sort of mood thing going on where I was quite sad a lot of the time. Whether it's depression or not, I don't want to say it was depression because it wasn't clinically diagnosed. If anything, it was like self-diagnosed as possibly high-functioning, some sort of depression. I don't know. Not point. I was sad a lot, I suppose. But well, I didn't mean to delve so deep, I suppose, into these videos. But you know, just what gets you going. Easy thing to talk about. Plus, I'm past those moments now, so it's easier for me to talk about as something I'm reflecting back on. And maybe it's something, if you're going through a similar time, you'll be like, oh, there's light at the end of a tunnel. Look, dear did it. You can do it too. That's what I'm telling you right now. If you're going through a tough time, you can pull through. You'll make it to the end. And you'll look back and be like, keep on keeping on past me. You'll make it. You've made it. Anyway, my old voice used to be, like, I suppose it's my sad voice now. Is this my tired voice where I, like, rolled. Like, everything I'd be like, wow, that's cool. Everything always, like, a sinking tone. A very gravelly sort of roll at the end of everything I say. Now I think I've settled into something which I think is more reflective of me. Is my, ooh, who are you? You're a robot. Sparky? Sprocket, that's it. I think I've settled into a much more softer tone of, well, how I speak. Do I have a husky voice? I don't think I have a husky voice. Although I do have a very husky cough, I suppose. If I do have a husky voice, it's definitely as a result of my weird problem with, I don't know, where I have a perpetual cough caused by what we don't know right now. But don't worry, I've seen a GP recently about it. Oh, I need to pick up a medicine, I forgot. I was meant to do that today. I was meant to go to a pharmacy and pick up a medicine. Oh well, I'm going to start taking some medicine about it. Because I predicted it was something to do with acid reflux. If I really want to delve into it, but let's not delve into my medical issues so much. I suppose it's private, but it's also something I'm talking about looking back with from a future, I suppose. Anyway, what was my point? Yeah, your voice changes. Maybe, you don't know, like, I always see this, especially with YouTubers. If you go back to their old videos, they always sound so much more, like, darker and depressed or whatever. And if you go to their future videos, you know, as they start loving their job more, they get more into it, and they get more practice about speaking about those sort of things. They get more energetic, they're like, yeah, oh, wow, like, I guess you can sort of already start to see that sort of progression. If you go back to, like, day one or whatever of these Animal Crossing videos, and you can see I'm just, like, talking like this. I'm like, hey, everybody. You're Ali. I think I've had you before, but I can't remember what version. I might have had you in Wild World. I don't know. Anyway, what's the thing? I forgot. It wasn't important. I mean, nothing I say is particularly important. It's just idle chatter, but still. What was I saying? Something about voice changing. Oh yeah. I've always get so much more energetic, so watch your space. 2 years time. Listen to what my voice sounds like again. I bet it's going to sound like this. Maybe I'll finally learn how to talk with a higher tone. Because that's the thing, like, people make a lot of judgments of your voice immediately. So if, you got, so a lot of trans people, of course, learning to change your voice, a very important part of it. Well, not a very important part, but it's an important part of trying to go, as I say, stealth mode, or whatever. Where you try and not get called out on it as much and that sort of thing. Not called out, wait, hold on. This is terrible phrasing. I mean, like, how to put this? Let me think about this. Not like, raising questions that you don't want to deal with, I suppose. Probably the best way to put it. Just sort of just like, you know, you don't want to get too much attention to yourself. Yeah. Apparently your voice is a very important part of it. And here I am, just being like, well, whatever. I'll talk with this voice or whatever I want. I mean, no one's really said anything about it. Actually, that's not true. There have been previous comments before. Very mean-spirited comments. But luckily I was just like, okay. Like, if I was a much more insecure, younger teenager, I guess I'd be like, oh, my life, my heart, it hurts. But now I read it, I'm just like, okay. Weird thing to comment, but sure. But still there, I think. You can see them. One of them was like, welcome Vivian. There was just like some person asking was like, are you gay? Which is just utterly horribly homophobic thing to say. I just want everyone to know, LGBT community, of course, very welcome. In all my videos in my community, I mean, I'm part of it, so obviously that's sort of like a given, I suppose. But yeah, when I first read it, I was like, okay, weird thing to say. Obviously not going to grace that with a response, but I didn't delete it because I'm like, whatever. They're probably like some 12-year-old or something, some edgy 12-year-old. Maybe they're going through some things. Maybe they've got some own internalized feelings and thoughts, which I act out against and being rude to others. I don't know. I was gonna say it's not my own place to judge, but here I am judging them anyway, so yeah, but then I checked back, like, I can't remember how much later, because I remember I was looking through my videos, I was like, why does this video, your Draco or Draco has like 50 comments. I'm like, what? I look back and was just a load of people being super supportive, being like, hey, don't be mean, or like, why does that matter, huh? I think it's adorable and very supportive. This is the sort of community we can build online. Because I think YouTube community often gets a bad rep for being horrible, and in some cases it can be quite toxic, but there's also, you know, there's good sides of every community as well. And if you only focus on the bad sides, then that sort of leads you down downward spiral. I feel like if you foster your own wholesome, supportive community, that's what's reflected as well. So, you know, I mean, I feel like it's quite easy for me to try and foster that sort of environment because it's kind of just like what I want in the first place. Like, I want to have a community being a reflection of how I act or that sort of thing. Well, actually, that's not really true. I want the community to act better than I do, I suppose. You know, like you raise a child to be like, better than you, that sort of thing. I want a wholesome, supportive community. And I feel like Animal Crossing is a very good medium for that sort of thing. Despite some of the weird internet controversies that arise from it, but that's, you know, if you go to toxic sides of Twitter or other different social media platforms, which you know, if you go to the toxic sides of those sort of fandoms, then you're kind of setting yourself up for disaster, I suppose, in the first place, aren't you? It's kind of like, well, what did you expect, you know? Dead Dove meme. You're Tad? Henry. But yeah, it was just nice to see all those supportive comments. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't like affected by the comment in the first place. I was just like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird. But I was like, oh, you know, there's a lot of good people out there. I don't know if it got deleted because I actually checked on it like a while back and I was like, oh, what happened to the comment? I don't know, it's gone. Should we still see if it's still there? Oh, you know what I should do actually right now? You know, probably shouldn't do it right now, but I need to add farewell fuchsia and farewell fuchsia to the title of yesterday's video because I forgot. I was meant to, but I always forget. Because that's when she moved away. How long is this video, are we? I didn't even check. 25 minutes? Time flies. Anyway. Time to take off. Yeah, so I've done that now. Alright. Vivian. Let's see, comments. So he's got 43 comments. You're like, what? Oh yeah, it's actually still there 8 months ago. Wow. But then so many people just like thumbs upping like really supportive comments. Like this person, and I'm not going to call them out, and if you really want to go have a look yourself, whatever, don't do it if you're someone who's going to feel bad, I suppose. They're probably like some weird 12-year-old or whatever. It's amazing how defensive they got and how long they kept on fighting back or whatever. I don't know, it's just like, why bother? Why bother spreading hate? It's so pointless. Who are you? Are you Avery? You're not Apollo, but you still look pretty cool. You're really cool. But do I want you over Apollo? Nah, I think Apollo's definitely too cool. But anyway, there was another video. I think it must have been one of the Heaven's Vault ones or something. I can't remember. But they were like, "Are you a guy pretending to be a girl?" Nah, I'm a girl pretending to be a girl. Pretending to be a girl. I'm a deer pretending to be a human. I was really tempted to reply to that comment being like, I'm a deer pretending to be a gamer or something. But I was like, that's just not funny. This is not lame. You know, it's just the way I deal with, you know, hateful comments, which luckily I don't get very often, you know. Like before YouTube channel, obviously I didn't get any because, you know, I surround myself with positive people, or at least try to. Or decent people. It's just how I deal with people. I'm like, oh, you're a horrible person? Well, I'm just going to ignore you then. You know? There's no point in wasting my time with you when I can be wasting my energy. Not wasting my energy, I could be using my energy on people who I deemed worthy of respect, you know? Like my family, or my friends. All very respectable people. They have flaws, but they're not your flaws, which you currently have, I suppose. Shout out to my haters. What am I doing? I don't even know. I'm not even large enough to get haters, which I think is a good thing, probably. Can you imagine, like, the amount of hate some other bigger YouTubers and Twitch streamers, and like any big online personas get on a daily basis? Like, I'm someone I feel like you can deal with that pretty well, but even still, that must be grating. Like, oh, let's just log on to Twitter today. I got 5,000 DMs telling me to, you know, do something terrible or like hating on me. I'd be like, oh, you know, just like so much effort. Although I feel like I'm probably better than the average person at dealing with it. Because it happens, because obviously I play video games, sometimes it happens in video games, you get people very riled up with anger and that sort of thing and decide to take it out of their team because, I don't know, for whatever reasons, their own insecurities. I just sort of just go, that's not very nice. It's very sort of like nursery teacher-esque, sorry, kindergarten teacher-esque, isn't it? Now that's not very nice. You should know, if you have nothing nice to say, you should say nothing at all. I suppose that's the sort of aura I give off. Sorry, there's just stuff going on in Discord. Amusing stuff. Let's see. Oh, we've seen you before. Ah, Tybalt. I thought you were Leo or something. That's wrong. Yeah, so basically, I don't know. If you get people hating on you, just be like, well, whatever. Well, actually, that's not true. You shouldn't be that dismissive. It depends on the situation. Because, you know, people can criticize you, obviously. Like, maybe they'll be like, you know, sometimes I think you're too blunt when it comes to things. Or maybe like, I wish you would show a bit more whatever blah 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 in the situation. You know, take on criticism, look at it, evaluate it, be like, is this just hate? Is this got a point? You know, does this have something to stand on? And then once you've come to that conclusion, then respond to it as you see fit. You know, because sometimes you'll get criticism or something like hate at some point, and you'll be like, you'll evaluate it and you'll be like, nah, this is just pointless. This person just is really angry or looking to take it out on someone. You know, you dismiss that. You know, be like, all right. You be like, thank you for that, and then you just move on. And sometimes you get someone, you be like, you know, this person's got a point. Maybe they didn't phrase it in the best way possible, but they got some sort of point. Be like, I see where you're coming from. I don't think it was appropriately phrased, but thank you for your information or whatever anyways. I mean, you try and make yourself a better person, of course. I'm not going to say I'm like a pinnacle of human, I don't know, what's the word? Virtue, and I can stand by that all the time. You know, I'm an emotional person. Sometimes the emotions will be like, oh, this affects my emotions. If I was to phrase it like a robot would, I suppose. But you know, it's something you should strive to be. Apple, yes. I know that's who you are. Should we just keep going? We've only got like 4 tickets left. Might as well, right? This is fun to talk about. Basically, just take things on the chin. And if you're someone who is good at self-evaluating, self-evaluate a lot, you know. Try and be the best person you are, you know. It's not easy to take a subjective step backwards and look at yourself without the veneer of your own biases. Like, I like to think I'm a lot better at it now than I was before, but still. Even then, I'll get things wrong, you know? I'll be biased. I'll be like, I'm not actually like that, but then maybe it actually is. But as long as you're taking the time to really try and improve yourself, I don't see what's so wrong about that in the first place, huh? Sorry about that mini pause. Mini pause like you might find on a baby bear. Ha 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 ha. That's, I don't know, terrible joke. I feel like most of my humour's made up of puns anyway. Wow, how do we get onto such a weird conversation topic about after it's talking about voices? I don't even know what I'm going to title this episode. Voices and I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't worry about it too much. Who even gets this far in the video? Like, I can't imagine watching 35 minutes of me blabbing on about random nonsense as if I'm an authority on the subject, which I'm not. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, not gospel. I'll be wrong a lot. But you know, it's just my view on it. If you've got a different view, talk to me. Share it. Be like, hey dear, I see your point of this. I'm not sure I quite agree with it. I see it more like this. And I'll be like, interesting. If you just go, rah, you suck, you're wrong, and I'm just going to be like, well. Or I'll read it properly and be like, okay. Very weird phrasing. But, and then I'll just move on. That's how it is, you know? Leave behind the things which cause you pain. Something like that. Well, I mean, obviously you can't always do that in every situation. Sometimes you got to face the pain, sometimes you got to grin and bear it, you know, and every situation's different. There's no grand sweeping phrase or piece of advice you can give to every situation, and ironically, that is probably the only advice you can have. And even then, it's probably wrong, because there probably is advice which applies in all situations, you know, like, be nice. Or maybe not be nice, be respectful. Nah, even then, you can probably justify situations where you aren't respectful if someone's not respecting you, and you're sort of like, if you're taking a much more fire with fire approach. I don't know. Do what works best for you, you know? We still got free tickets left. We haven't even talked about the people we've seen yet on the islands. Who have we got here? Where are they? That's Jitters. We don't want them, and I kind of want to wrap this up actually, kind of soon, so let's just hurry this along. If you don't know who we're looking for, we're looking for Fauna, Phoebe, Apollo. Fauna, Phoebe, Apollo. Am I missing someone? Biscuit. We only need 4 people? Is that true? Biscuit? Yeah, Biscuit, Apollo, Fauna, Phoebe. Oh, we only need 4 villagers. So we're looking at 4. A need of 600. So, yeah, it's like a 1 in 150 chance. Actually, it's not quite bad because the way, if you don't know, a New Horizons chooses who appears on your Nookmar Islands is they'll first randomly select a species and then randomly select someone in the species. So species with a lot of different villagers, you'll have a low. If you want to find like Raymond, for example, because I think cats are the most popular Animal Crossing villager, you're less likely to find Raymond when you are someone like, I don't know what the least popular species is. It's gotta be like hippos or something. Or that would be like a 1 in 7 chance, while with cats it's like 1 in 20 chance, I think. Crazy, huh? So every time we see a deer, an eagle, I don't remember your name, so I'm gonna go look up and talk to you. Stella! Every time we see a deer, a dog, an eagle, or hawks, I don't remember what I think they're called eagles, or ostriches. We could have been, and it wasn't one of the 4 we want. We'll just be like, missed opportunities. I think off camera I'm gonna move my house back to where it's meant to be. Because if you don't know, we moved it there because we had a glitch tile in the first place where we couldn't put down any paths, and apparently this fixes it. We'll find out. But our last ticket, we only got 1 shot to make it count. Might never get this moment again. Yeah, this is a bit of a rambling episode today, wasn't it? Just talked about utter nonsense forever. I mean, what episode do I not do that in? Just kinda what I do. You know, I will say a lot of improvement. What I've improved a lot on is, you know, just being able to talk randomly. Especially since from day 1, I basically didn't know what to talk about. Now I've gotten much more comfortable, but just talking, filling up space with whatever conversation. And I can't remember your name. I know your name, I just can't remember it. Plucky, that's it. Anyway, yeah, it's interesting. Let's see my improvement in that sort of thing. Even now, sometimes I have videos where I'm just like, I don't feel like recording. Or like after I record it, I'm like, I was really bad at talking in that video. Like, I recorded 2 Spiritfarer episodes today, which will go up next week. I was like, these aren't very good. But, you know, you gotta upload them because important stuff happened anyway. So much more, I don't know, my conversational juices weren't playing, but apparently I made up for it in this one, where apparently I talked for 40 minutes non-stop. But anyway, let's round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscriptions, shares, all greatly appreciated. Join my Discord, follow me on Twitter, you can find those down below. And I hope we can see each other again. But for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.